I am Chernyaga Igor Pavlovich. On December 5th, I was illegally mobilized and bussified. At first, they sent me to the Marine Corps. I spent a month there and then made an SZH from there.
I am Polykarpov Alexander Vladimirovich, also illegally bussified. They took me on January 5th, and I stayed in that unit until the very last day.
Which unit did you end up in?
The 44th Battalion, attached to the 66th Separate Mechanized Brigade.
After I committed a crime or desertion according to their laws with the SZH, I was on the run for only 4 days, and then I wanted to go home to my wife and daughter. But the border guards caught me in Mayaki, and right away they announced that I was SZH. They brought in a military police officer, then it was the humpback bridge. After the humpback bridge in Odessa, a couple of days later they sent me to the Rakiv Agricultural College. There was a camp for SZH people there. I stayed there for a month, and during that month I chose a unit for myself, the 44th Mechanized Brigade, attached to the 115th Battalion.
I went to the kiosk near my house to get some cigarettes. I stepped out for a cigarette, bought some, and then the police showed up. Well, naturally, I went out without any documents. Who takes documents just to buy cigarettes? They started checking me, running my info back and forth. That's it. And they put me in a car, took me to the military enlistment office, and brought me down to the basement. We had a medical exam. The enlistment officer...
Was the medical exam just for show, or was it done thoroughly?
What do you mean, just for show? They just haven't written for a year, and that's all.
Do you have any health complaints?
Well, actually, my knee doesn't bend after an accident. I was in 1919 and got into an accident. My leg doesn't bend fully at all. But there they just say, if you can walk, you're healthy, that's it.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any teeth, only the front ones. The back ones are gone. So, that's how it is.
Tell me how you ended up in the unit.
After I chose the 44th Separate Mechanized Brigade, they only came to pick us up a month later, those of us who had chosen those units. That was in the camp for those from the Special Reserve. They took us to Yatskovka, and we stayed there for about 1 or 2 weeks. And then, since we didn't have any documents showing that we had any military position or any military duty, so they sent us to training for 45 days. And from that moment, I stayed in Piryatin for 45 days, right up until April 13th, in training.
So, Alexander, did you go through any training?
We did it right there, directly in the unit. They brought us there.
Uh-huh.
So, they settled us in, and for the first 2 weeks, we basically did nothing at all. Well, we were just relaxing, so to speak. But then, little by little, they started taking us out to the training grounds. First of all, everyone there was older. I had a separate platoon. And in our platoon,
What kind of platoon was it?
A separate machine gun platoon. Here, there were only 30 of us there. We lived separately from everyone else. Here. And they took us to the training ground. The training ground was about 4 kilometers away, I think. They wanted to see if we could make it there or not. But half of us didn't even make it, because the youngest among us was 40 years old.
And how old are you?
51.
What scary things did you see that stuck with you?
What do you remember?
The airstrikes, that kind of thing?
Airstrikes, drops Baba Yaga, cluster munitions, mortars, grenade launchers. That's what's terrifying. You just don't know at what moment you might die, plain and simple. How it will end.
You can hardly ever stick your head out, because the moment you do, you're already a target. The moment you stick your head out, basically, we just sat holed up in a dugout.
Did the command give you any kind of briefing before sending you to the front line?
No.
Not at all. Maybe they briefed the group leader, but us, the soldiers, know.
So you had no idea what to expect at all?
We didn't know anything at all. They didn't tell us there would be airdrops or that there would be mortar fire. None of that was mentioned. There was no mention of there being cassettes. They just threw us out there like dogs, that's it. Watch the dugout.
Tell us, how did you surrender?
Well, basically, it started when birds started dropping grenades.
Your guys, the soldiers, approached the dugout. So, right away the drones hit the dugout a couple of times, back and forth. They immediately offered us to surrender. Well,
we surrendered right away for the sake of survival, but some of the senior guys started shooting back, firing, and when all of this started, then there was one who was very badly wounded, who barely crawled over. How he got wounded, we don't even know. Half his butt was hanging off in shreds. His leg and arm were broken. And so my partner and I sat with him, watched over him, carried him, bandaged him, gave him medical aid, so to speak.
So, I was sitting like this in the dugout by the wall. Well, on this side. And at that moment, I don't know what hit there, to be honest, but it went bad. There was a bang. And it threw me like this. So I turned around, I fell, and, well, they hadn't brought a table, so apparently I got covered by debris against the table like this. Well, thank God at least the logs didn't fall on me. So, I already had my rifle in my hands, but I could barely hold it.
I actually lost my rifle in the dugout. Just misplaced it. That's how it was. I didn't want to shoot back or do anything.
Guys suggested we surrender to your side. They suggested it a second time.
Well, before all this happened, we used to watch Telegram channels run by senior guys who were obsessed with the war. In those videos, they say that prisoners of war are treated very well. They don't maim, don't beat, don't abuse them. They get 3 meals a day, smoke breaks, time outside, and are treated calmly. They don't insult, don't treat you like dogs. Everyone treats you perfectly. Without any
Yes, they put a splint on me, yes.
without any physical or psychological pressure whatsoever at all.
That's right, the attitude.
The attitude is great, plain and simple.
So you saw for yourself that this is really the case?
Yes, we saw for ourselves. In my case as well, yes.
Tell us about how our soldiers treat you.
Their attitude is normal. It's great. They provide medical assistance, they put a splint on him, gave him an injection, and are feeding him everything. So nothing like that. I mean, no abuse or anything like people say or whatever anyone claims. Well, our propaganda claimed that they abuse people here, break their arms, and even use soldering irons on them. But none of that is happening here. It's all a lie. People are treated humanely. No one is spared by anyone. Not morally, not physically, not psychologically, not by pressure. There is no pressure here. Everything is calm. Everything is fine. No one offends anyone. No one insults or calls anyone names. Overall, the attitude is excellent.
All right, good. Please tell us a little about your attitude toward the current Ukrainian authorities. About Zelensky, about his government.
Very negative. Extremely negative, because the pressure is just unreal. They keep pressing and pressing. It never stops. They put pressure in terms of money, raising prices for everything, utilities, food, healthcare. To get any treatment, you have to pay for everything. And even to arrange something, you have to pay for everything as well. How so? We have a very negative attitude. You can't go out, can't work, can't relax, can't take a walk, can't even have a barbecue. It's just constant pressure from the TCC, the police, the VSP.
How do you feel about the TCC?
Sidorov. To hell with them. I'd love to get rid of them for good here. Because of how much they torment people, how indiscriminately they round people up, just absolutely indiscriminately. Can I tell you a story? So, basically, my neighbor was out walking his dog. He was just walking along the sidewalk, along the curb. They pulled up in a van, threw him in along with the dog, and drove off. Well, the dog too.
Is your friend's last name Tormozin? No. We had someone here with a dog too.
So anyway, they loaded him up and took him there. Well, they gave the dog back, but not him. Well, do you think it's normal to force people to fight?
I think it's not normal.
I'm 51 years old. What kind of soldier am I supposed to be? My legs don't bend. My eyesight is bad. I mean, really.
Daniel, what do you want?
I wanted to say, when I was at training camp until April 13th, my wife called me and complained that the SBU came and took her stepfather. The SBU, they packed him up and drove him around the region, processed military documents, and updated them in that regard.
What happened?
And my father-in-law is 59 years old. They came to his work, took him away, and that was it. They drove him around Ukraine for a couple of days, just the SBU. That's what actually happened. He's 59 years old. He has a wife.
Did they suspect him of something or what?
No, they just wanted to update some information there.
So, let's do it this way. If there are any words you'd like to say to your family, friends, acquaintances, or maybe your comrades, please go ahead and speak to the camera.
I want to send my regards to all my friends, especially Seryoza, my buddy Vanik, Vanya, my godfather, Grebenyuk, Lenka, his wife, my big sister, and my other sisters, all of them. That's about it. I'm alive and well. Everything is fine, everything is good, they treat me well. I'm being held captive. Don't worry, I'm safe and unharmed. The main thing is that I'm alive and healthy. Everything is fine, don't worry. Maxim, Oksana, I'm alive, everything's okay, don't worry. This is my brother, that's it. Don't listen if they call and say I'm missing in action. Push them there, make sure they're doing something. Yes, I'm alive. Yes, and make sure to push and prod our people there too. Let them know that I'm alive and healthy, because they'll be making up stories that I'm missing in action, so don't believe them. They'll all be telling tales. In reality, I'm alive and healthy. Don't worry, everything is fine with me.
So, guys, who knows Chishin? I was told...
I know Chishin.
Aha!
He's a good person.
Where did you meet?
We met in the unit as well. They were together.
We have that here too.
I'd like to see him, talk to him. I just would like to be with him, yes.
You see, little by little, the 44th Battalion is already gathering all the families here. Well, good for them. They did the right thing. Do you think you were lucky that it all ended this way?
Thank God it ended, and thank God I made it out alive and healthy. When I was inside there, in the dugout, when the shelling started, I thought I'll go out unarmed, surrender. I don't know. I was thinking, will I survive or not? Either a bullet to the forehead or life. And just like the guys promised, they kept their word. The guys know how to keep their word. Basically, they said captivity, so captivity it is. They won't shoot or kill.
Say thank you 100 times.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 144th, you're awesome. Well done. You saved our lives. We survived. Thank you.